Hello, everyone. We continue the series on children laws. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah. So I'm going to retract a bit and not go into Kenyan laws. I'll go back to the global laws. So I'll start with the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child. So the UNCRC, as it's popularly known, has its history starting from as early as 1892, where Jeb and her sister decided to come up with 10 charters or 10 principles which they believed should be used by the UN to improve or to advance the welfare of children. So I will not go into details on that, but you can Google it up and you can see the 10 principles. But I will go into the UNCRC itself. UNCRC has 54 articles. And one of the best things about UNCRC, it defines who a child. Before the UNCRC was enacted, we didn't know who a child. So every nation, every country had its own definition of a child. But the UNCRC came to define who a child is. And according to the UNCRC, a child is everyone under 18 years old. So everyone under the age of 18 years old. Even if you're 17.9, you're a child. So the UNCRC, the 54 articles expands on the different rights and responsibility and the responsibility of state parties in ensuring that children live to thrive. So I'll just pick up on a few and you see where they are anchored. For example, Article 5, the family has the responsibility to help you. So I'm reading the child version. So it is, your family has a responsibility to help you learn to exercise your rights and to ensure that your rights are protected. So the UNCRC has four distinct pillars. It has the child protection pillar, it has the child survival and development pillar, it has child participation pillar, and it has a non-discrimination clause and best interest of the child. So in these different places, we find that it tries to encompass and to provide an umbrella where every child on earth is protected. So, and I think out of all countries, only one country has not signed into the UNCRC, that is the United States, sorry. But but every other country, it is one of the most ratified laws in the world, one of the most, because it's only one country all over the globe that has not signed. And please, Mr. President Trump, just sign the whole thing. The children of America actually need the law than the rest of the world. Their children need it. So there are basically 4 principles of child rights, which are in the UNCRC. So the non-discrimination principle. So these principles says that states parties shall respect and ensure that the rights set forth in the present convention to each child within the jurisdiction without discrimination. That means in simple English that no child should be discriminated depending on their legal guardian or race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, or national, ethnic or social origin, poverty, disability, birth, or other status. So no child should be discriminated because of these things, because maybe they are disabled, or probably they have different race, or they are from a different economic background. All children should be treated equally. And then the next principle is the best interest of the child principle. So in these principles, it is in Article 3.1 of the UNCRC. It says, in all actions concerning children, whether undertaken by public or private, social welfare institution, courts or law, administrative authorities or legislative bodies, the best interest of the child shall be of primary consideration. So this is important because children are vulnerable. By the fact they're children, they are vulnerable, regardless of where that child comes from. They are vulnerable. And so whatever action should be taken should take into their consideration. So as these principles envisioned that whatever decision is done, you should think of the child. How is it going to impact on that child's lives? If, for example, we are going to the market with a child, is it going to impact positively or negatively? And you weigh the two and you find like you start determining the best interest of this child. Is it good for me to go with the child to the market or not? If it's good, they're going to learn how to do trade, go ahead. But if you go and that child is going to get lost, don't go to the child. So that's just a simple way of determining the best interest of the child. So the other one is the principle of the right to survival and development. This one is in Article 6.2 of the Charter. The article says state parties shall ensure to the maximum extent possible that the survival and development of the child. So this article says that no child should be killed. Basically, that state parties, like every nation, should make sure that no child dies, should take all measures to ensure that the child survives and thrives. That means ensuring that they are enjoying the right to health, there is proper nutrition, they're able to play, they're able to develop physically, emotional, spiritual, intellectually. So state parties are supposed to take measures to ensure that this child survives and thrives. The views of children. This is very close to my heart and close to Mtoto News' heart, where it's in Article 12.1, which it says state parties shall ensure that to the child who is capable of forming his or her own views, the right to express those views freely in all matters affecting the child, the view of the child being given due weight in accordance with the age and maturity of the child. That means child participation. How is that child involved? At a family level, how are you involving your child to make that decision? Or do you wake up in the morning and say, today we are going to eat bread and tea and a little jam? And probably the child does not feel like taking jam. They just want tea and bread. But because you're the parent, you don't consider that child views because you are the adult. How many times do we ask our children, where do you want us to go for this holiday? How many times do we ask our children, what do you want for our family plans for next year? So child participation is not only at the national level or at decision-making level or political, economic level, but also at the family level. How are we ensuring that there's child participation? So these 4 principles are the basis of the UNCRC, which as I mentioned earlier, there are 54 articles, and this expand from the definition of the child and to the different rights and freedoms of the child and who is responsible to them and what is supposed to be done if some of these rights and responsibilities are not adhered to by a state or an individual. So in the next series, I'm going to look, and the next part, I'm going to look at the different articles, the ones that are really pertinent to what we do. So thank you very much. Please continue giving us your comments and feedback, and let us know what other laws you want us to look into. Yeah, we've listened to you. You want us to look past the nation, but also regional and globally. And we're going to look at the UNCRC, and we're going to look at the African Charter. We are going to look at the at other instruments that safeguard children. Thank you very much. Let's hear from you down there, the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you, and God bless you. Adios.